If you had the opportunity to live in a children's wonderland, would you choose anywhere else? We don't just say, we do. It's the Stain City way.
Hello and welcome to Real Talk with me, Anele Mdota. So, 27 years ago, in the landlocked country of Swaziland, a baby boy was born, and the only thing that could calm this young boy down was music and his love for it. At age 18, he decided to go after his dream, and today he's taking his claim and planting his feet firmly in the music arena. In 2015, he won the Best Radio Song, Male Artist of the Year, as well as Best Video of the Year in his home country, Swaziland. His rhythmic tunes have since spread like wildfire across Southern Africa, with his hit songs Vuma and Tigi becoming sing-along anthems at all gatherings that I've been to. He's also topped the charts and is playlisted on many platforms. He was also the very first Swazi artist to headline the popular MTN Bushfire event in May. To top this, in just 8 months of hitting the South African shores, his debut album Sands of Time hit gold here in South Africa. And today, Sandziso Matsebula, am I saying it right? Matsebula. We'll discuss it now. I just know him as Sands, okay? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna embarrass myself. Tiki tick tick tiki, tiki tick tick tiki. Listen, I'm so obsessed with your song.
Oh wow, great! Thank you so much.
Please let's get your name right here.
Sandziso.
Sandziso, not Sandziso.
Yeah,
Sandziso.
Sandziso. It's got a Z because it's a Swati.
Oh,
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Listen. Can you go anywhere now in Swaziland? Are you like this like national icon? where even if you go do groceries, like, no, he doesn't have to pay, he doesn't have to pay.
Well, groceries you definitely have to pay. But yeah, the brand is popular in Swaziland quite a lot. Yeah.
And you like the national pride. Has the king called you yet to have dinner?
Well, not yet to have dinner. But yeah, the recognition is there. In all frontiers, yes.
That is absolutely Did you realize how big Tigi was going to be?
I didn't. Well, of course, each and every song, when you write it, you definitely want it to be big, and you have that kind of mindset in you. But when it literally happens, it's totally, nerve-wracking in a way. And for me, it's been humbling. I'm totally surprised by how South Africa has received it. And of course, most of the SADC countries as well.
So I need to ask, the Vani, what does that mean? Because we argue, me and my friends, because somebody thought you're saying Sani, and I was like, no,
nah.
I think you're saying Vani. Let me guess, to me, Vani sounds like you're saying, listen.
Yes. That's what we're saying in that line, the whole phrase, basically. It's Vani, la lela. So it means just listen and stop talking.
Oh, so listen as I'm talking about this person that I love.
Yes.
So were you writing just a love song, or were you writing it for a specific someone?
I was writing a happy song, basically, because Tigi is the rhythm of the heart. You know, so it's more about happiness rather than really specifically love, as much as it is speaking about love and the heart, but it all ends up with happiness.
So have people sent you their videos? Because I know about 5 couples who got married and their first dance was to that song.
Yeah.
So you're aware that you have now taken over Casey and Jojo all my life?
I know. I know very well. And it does fit in such scenarios, especially weddings, because it's a love song. And it's about the rhythm of the heart. So, yeah.
What made you a good writer? Because when I speak to other musicians about your song, they're all like, yeah, Tigi is good, but have you heard Vuma? And now these are artists, these are people who write. I'm talking people like Zonke, you know, like, she's like, okay, I get it, Tigi is good, Anele, but have you heard Vuma? Wow. So, which means that you're being lauded and applauded by people who can write. You know, what made you a good writer?
I think, well, for me, writing comes with me totally immersing myself in a certain situation. But while doing that, I have to use the simplest words because that's what makes it easily attached to you as a person. And if you listen to Vuma, we're not trying to use big words or, be too sarcastic. It's just a matter of the fact that if you're getting married, you get married to that person because you no longer want to think there's someone better than them for the rest of your life. So that's just basic. I think that's what would makes me a good writer in that sense.
So when you were young, because I understand you said you didn't have siblings when you were younger, you had siblings when you were older from your mom's side and your dad's side, right? So because you were a loner and you had imaginary friends, were you writing a lot then? And is this when the skill came?
Well, I think that's what sparked the skill to have imaginary friends. Because I would imagine a lot of things, I would play around and imagine things and imagine them answer me, the way I want to. So
you're a bit of a dictator.
Yeah. I mean, it had to favor me.
Of course, it's your colony, it's your country,
yes,
okay?
Of course. So it did help. It did spark creativity. Yeah.
And what do your imaginary friends say about your song?
Well, instantly.
Okay. So once again, your friends are saying what you want them to say. You studied PR.
I studied PR.
I just feel like you studied that so you can go do something to pass time.
Yeah. Well, for me, I studied it because, it was quite hard to convince your parents that, especially from a small country, which I was raised in Swaziland, it was quite hard to say, I want to study music and make it my profession. They were like, okay, so tell us, my son, who has done that in here? So it was quite hard. So I ended up having to go study PR and then finish and then at least have the right to go and do music. But I did study music part-time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you do your own PR now?
Well, this is PR, right?
Okay, I get that, but how? So who's the brains behind your PR then?
My brains behind the PR is Cunis Communications. It's a company which we work with that does the PR. But when I'm put on the spotlight to talk, then I guess
then obviously
it plays
you do
a
it
role.
yourself.
Yes.
Were you the guy in high school who's always performing? Let's say there's a cultural evening, they're like, okay, Sands must perform.
Nah, I'd never even sing. Not at all. I'd be a spectator, a very good one.
Why is that?
It's because I grew up very shy. The musical element would not be uploaded. So it wasn't such a it didn't come with confidence to me to stand in front of people and try it out. It was only after I finished school, high school especially, that I then got a bit of uploading in the music school, which I ended up studying music part-time at, because at least they understood the whole concept and everything. That's when I started having enough confidence to perform and sing.
Who convinced you to get on stage?
Leeroy Jason, my mentor, I'd say.
So you'd been performing for him?
From then on, yeah, for him and the team there at school. But then it was after I stood and performed in my Tianza that I then had the confidence to now go out and perform commercially.
So you record your songs, because I know you were part of a group, right? A duo, and then...
It was a duo, yeah.
It was a duo, and then you...
Qibo,
yes,
intellectual.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then you guys split, and then you started recording music by yourself.
Yeah.
Where were you the first time you heard your song on radio?
Oh, first time I was in the I was called that my song is gonna play on radio for the first time. So ran out of studio. I remember we were recording it those days. Ran out of studio, got in the car, opened the radio, and I was like, wow, is this me? Is this my song? It's always overwhelming.
And then were people calling you and Facebook requests going up?
Well, Facebook requests did go up, but it only took time for people to even realize that it is me, because no one really expected it at that time. We couldn't do any PR to say, okay, catch our song live on radio today or what. So it was just only after that the song started playing, and then people got familiar, and they got familiar to the fact that now it Sands.
I mean, it was a bit of like a big wave that took over Swaziland. And for the song to then reach South African side, and I mean, Metro FM has been on the charts for 6 weeks. You were playing on BBC Extra. MTV has been all over the song. You know, it's, and like you were saying about your parents, that there hasn't been a Swati artist that has made it that big in South Africa for them to be able to believe in it. Like, was it a major thing for you to take South Africa by storm?
It actually is. And what surprises me the most is that there is still even more room to go if people are still saying, we hear Tigi.
Yeah.
What about Vuma? What about that one? What about that one? Because the whole album has quite amazing songs. Well, even according to me, you know. But so yeah, I'm lost of words actually.
That's all you must say. Look, that was the beginning of San's story. Stay tuned for more right after this. Do you play instruments?
Yep. I play piano. But specialize on acoustic guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. Basic piano. And
so you learned this after high school?
Yes.
So prior to just being in school, you weren't like attending classes to play instruments?
Nah.
Late bloomer then?
I guess I am one.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
Twitter's going mad. Ngwenya Xolisa says, as a Swazi, I am overly proud of AdSense Music 01. You have arrived, Mkolo. Well done. Inhliziyo ishaya Tiki. Queen says, Swazi pride. Willie says, shine kingdom of Swaziland, shine. I'm telling you, you're going to perform for the king one of these days.
Well, I have performed for him in his birthday. I mean, this year I did play. And yeah, I wouldn't mind performing again.
Yeah, just you now, not like a lineup,
just me.
He must be like, this is the biggest thing to come out of Swaziland.
Yeah.
So we must just all do our thing.
That would be totally.
Where's the best place for you to write music?
It's in my house. I think when I'm there, I'm much more comfortable. And preferably at night, it's easier.
Why is that?
Because at least the night is silence, less disturbances, and I'm able to get into a certain zone of creativity much more easier.
And what's the process? Are you humming the melody first and then recording it into your phone? Are you writing the words and then the melody comes?
I don't usually write my songs down. All of my songs are not written down on paper. I just write them in my brain because to me, they are situations and stories, which I take myself through in my imagination. And if I do that in my mind, then already it's registered here. So for me, it's just to repeat the words. So I just, well, it depends. Sometimes I make the melody on my guitar first, and then write the words in my brain. Or I write the words and then come up with the melody after.
And you don't feel like, because I know artists like you, because your first album is always like you pouring 27 years of creative into it, right? And you forget to leave something in the well.
For the future.
For the future. So how have you tackled that? What's your navigation process around that?
This is the first album for the people, but for me, it's not the first album. So the 27 years of my life have not yet been poured out. You know, so I started with the last album I wrote.
Yes.
And then the next one will be a bit much more historical. And then the last one maybe will be the 27 years, I guess.
Okay. And I think, do you realize that you have like pulling power now, right? So you can request certain things of certain people. So let's say you can call anyone and ask them to do a duet with you. You picking up your phone, who are you calling?
It's quite tricky, man. There's quite a lot of people I'll call.
Let's go through them.
It would depend on the song. I think right now, as young as I am and having grown up, looking up to people who are today legends,
yes,
I'd say immediately now I'd like to do a duet with one of the legends who are there in SA as well. Oprah Hiu or Tsepo
Tsola.
You know, especially the living ones, because the others have passed. So I think that to me is immediate enough. Then I think I could stand a chance to then call again
So
and request others.
Are those the type of people you listen to? Because I'm dying to know what music you listen to.
I listen to almost quite a lot of the genres.
Yeah.
But I'm more into soul and, well, honest music per se, like soul. And I don't usually listen to music which sounds like another artist which I've heard. So I prefer just natural voices, like Motsepo, voices you cannot change.
Okay, so you were in a studio and then you were told your song's playing on radio. You went outside to the car and you listened to the song. Clearly, big moment for you. When did you realize that, okay, it's a career now? I can live off this. I can buy groceries because I'm not getting them for free.
That was when I started getting paid for it. I was like, wow, actually, it's actually happening. You know, if I can get paid every now and then, then definitely I've made it. You know, so that was when I started realizing it's a career and I have to take it seriously and I have to brand myself well. I have to do certain things to make sure it's out there. And yeah.
What's not nice about it?
It's when people stop realizing that when you're having coffee in a coffee restaurant, you are there to have coffee, not take pictures.
Ne?
Or basically, just having your own personal life when you are outside of your house is quite. It's quite irritating sometimes.
It's strange.
It's strange, and
people follow you into the bathroom.
You know, and can't wait for you to come out, and you're like.
And now you're there, you've done weeing, you just like, okay, now I have to get out of here.
Yeah, so it is quite strange to me and quite hard for me to adapt to it. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get there. And I don't know if you
your
get
shy
used to
side?
it. Yeah, it is.
So is it a process for you to get on stage? Because obviously, you know, you go from being shy and reserved and one-man ranger, and now you have to be on stage to thousands of people.
The moment I tap into that position and hold a mic, I think that's the most comfortable space. There's no shy person there. There's just something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I can't explain that one.
no, but you don't have to, because the greatest of performers are the shyest people, but then when they get on stage, something else takes over. So you don't have to explain it. But do your parents and your family, do they believe now?
Well, yes, I'm sure because now they see I'm having a career. I'm able to take care of myself and achieve other goals, which even normal people who work on a daily or who work on government or on a daily normal life are able to achieve. So there is no difference now. So they are happy and they do recognize. So
it's a real job to them now.
Now it's a real job to them. Well, only because they see that I'm able to, afford everything. But in terms of the industry and how it works, they still don't understand.
This is interesting to me. What don't they understand about the industry?
Well, since my grandparents still don't understand that right here, right now, am I getting paid to be on TV? I can just sit here and
we're not
have
paying him. Mama no tata, endlini asinayo imali yombhadala. Okay, sorry, ne? We just want to get to know him better.
They just don't understand how the money process, runs in the industry and how you get paid well without even performing at times and stuff. How they don't understand that industry in that sense. But then when they see you having a life which is normal and even getting better in life, then they
when they
realize
see that you've got curtains in your house.
Yeah, now you can buy a car, you can start building a house, you can, that's when they realize, okay, we don't understand, but at least the money does get to him.
And are they not warning you that, musicians, it doesn't last forever?
Everybody says that. Not that they have power to make it not last forever or last forever, because I guess that all lies with God's hands. But yeah, at least it's one of the things I'm aware of and protecting myself from.
And do you now live in South Africa, or is Are you still in Swaziland and you just come this side to perform and to work and to make the money?
I'd say I live in both countries.
What a life. I live in 2 countries, darling.
Yeah, because home is Swaziland, and I still do love Swaziland. I still have friends there, you know. I'm still attached a bit. So if I have 3 days, I'm definitely driving back home to, you know, meet up with friends and stuff and family, because my family is there. But in terms of business, I'm based this side, definitely.
So it's more this side than Swaziland then?
It's more this side than Swaziland now, yeah.
You hear that, Swaziland? He's ours now. Listen, we're going to say bye to Sands for now. After the break, we'll be talking about the Basha Uhuru Freedom Fest, which ends on the 25th. Do not go away. But like I say, he'll be back a little later with a little surprise. And we're back now. We're joined by Jeanny Morulane, the Constitutional Hill General Manager for Marketing and Communications, as well as Leeroy Jason, a photographer whose exhibitions, #EverythingMustFall, were taking social media by storm yesterday. I was looking, I was like, yay, man. I saw it. And you were there, you were giving some sort of presentation.
Just the opening, the opening of my exhibition. It was just like people came and gave their speeches, just to, you know. Most of them were people that inspired me to actually do that work.
Run me through it. So the entire festival is whose brainchild? Yours?
It's Constitution Hill, yes.
Okay.
Constitution Hill has had the festival now for 5 years, so we're in our fifth year of iteration, and it's grown. It's grown.
I can tell.
It has. I mean, last year we had about 8,000 people at the concert, at the main event. So this year we are already, some of the areas are already sold out. So we really looking good. It's going
quite
very
a
well.
thing though. When you started out, did you have it over 3 days, or were you just doing single days then?
Well, we had it over actually a month, period of a month, but then with key focus days within the month.
Okay.
So it's always been a youth month, obviously, festival, commemorating the youth of 1976 and also looking at what the youth today are doing. And then, you know, encouraging also the creatives. I think the key focus area that we've had is around the creatives, and definitely people like Leeroy are
So Leeroy,
our key partners there.
walk us through #EverythingMustFall.
Oh man, so basically, as Jeanny said, basically it was commemorating. This year the theme was expressions of freedom. So what I did, I mean, it coincided with the body of work I've been working on for the past 3 years, which was all the issues around youth related issues that we are currently faced with.
For you, through your lens?
Through my lens, but it was also social commentary based on the hashtags, right? So because my series was called Everything Must Fall, I've mainly focused on the current struggles that we faced as youth. So one, it being a genderless society, and you know. So the first set of work is letting gender must fall. That was my first series of work that I've done with Muzi. I don't know if you also saw that on social media. And as well as then the next one was the war on women, because that is there was something that I did with Tano Tebet's you know, a while ago.
That was actually very good.
It was
Powerful.
It was powerful, but also it was, for me, it was a mixture of, I don't know if you got to see that image of Manaka Ranaka.
Yeah.
And the thing is, those are the issues that I think we're currently faced with. So then the third room was Fees Must Fall, because I mean there was a struggle that I thought was captured by media quite weirdly initially, but
you were capturing some profound images.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, what was great about what I wasn't really assigned to any media house, so I could release whatever I wanted. I didn't have to just give a small snippet of an escalation of, you know, most of the.
I see what you're saying is that some media houses, they pick pictures to serve a certain narrative.
Yeah. Whereas what I did was every day from every day of the protest, I just released all of the images on social media and documented it in such a way to show people how it escalated from a peaceful march to being rocks flying everywhere, stun grenades kids being shot, people taking their clothes off to kind of warn the police to stop the violence between, or the constant attacks that were happening there. It was very intense 7 weeks.
I can imagine.
And then the fourth one is Zuma Must Fall.
Yeah. How do you depict that one?
So basically, I've just been covering the marches, and as well as the court case. In the last, yesterday was the ruling on the court case on the kind. But I mean, that was just the first few steps. It's just what it represents in our time as in our country, and we're faced in a space where, the corruption and a lot of these things are kind of being targeted or being titled as, at the head of our country. I mean, unfortunately, he represents a whole lot of things that are happening in our country that we need to face and we need to speak about, and we can't hide away from. I mean, we as the youth, I think we are way more we're way more vocal now. We're no longer in a position where we have to wait and listen through talks.
Yeah.
We speak through the BS very quickly, and we address that for what it is. One being like the fees must fall. I mean, that was a very powerful, I think that was the first step to the series, actually.
So, Jeanny, Constitution Hill, you guys are very for the youth.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying? You're constantly doing things, and it's what I like is it's not like you can see things that are let's talk about fire that burns quickly, but then it burns out. With you guys, it's gradual, and it's always like that. Why are you guys taking that stance?
It's absolutely crucial because we have to continue the dialogue around our constitution. Our constitution is basically, what governs our lives, and it's important that youth are engaged in the constitution. So the programs, all the programs that we have with with the creative sector and things like Basha Uhuru and so forth. It's really to have this ongoing dialogue around the constitution, so that we really embed it and it becomes our after all it's that one piece of paper that governs your stay in South Africa as a citizen. So true. Essentially, it's important that youth don't just know it as a paper somewhere in some law drawer somewhere. It needs to be alive, and the issues that that Leeroy is talking to a maturing democracy. As democracy matures, citizens then become much more aware in terms of what are those rights. It's one thing to know that there's rights and there's and that there's a law somewhere, but when you actually faced with the realities of what is in there, is what's basically what's happening. And I think it's a very positive dialogue, in terms of really as a nation maturing our democracy and ensuring that we all participate in this process of where our country is going. Constitution Hill is a place, it's a museum, which houses some of the past atrocities that have happened, ways in which one human being should never treat another human being. It was a prison where a lot of our well-known stalwarts, Tata Madiba, Mambweni Mandela, Joe Slovo. So it's got, in fact, there's very few museums that have had so many, or prisons that have had so many of the political stalwarts jailed therein, So, and I mean, you look at the story, and you walk around the cells, the woman's jail, the, number 4 prison. I mean, the stories there are really gruesome in terms of how one human being was treating another. So it's a lesson, as an, for how one human being should never treat another. So essentially, we want to make that the space alive in terms of it being, yes, there's a bit of the pain of the past, but it's also the hope of the future with the Constitution Court.
What do you say to, because every time there's a South African movie and we have to depict our history. There's no way that we can avoid it.
Absolutely.
And people are like, oh, we're so tired of hearing about these political stories. Can we do a Men in Black? Can we do a Bad Boys? You know, can we do a rom-com? What do you say to people like that? Because I feel like, you know, you are doing the photo version of these movies that people are saying enough with them. You know what I'm saying? What do you say?
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, in the creative sector, we need to be alive to what's happening, you know, in current times. But I think it's also important to remind ourselves, because you know, if we can remind ourselves in terms of where we come from, you know, and what mistakes we've made in the past, so that in the future we can steer clear of some of the paths that were taken. So I think it's important that that the movies still, you know, depict those stories, because we essentially need to ensure that we don't forget. You know, heritage sites such as Constitution Hill, which has been declared now as a national heritage site, are there to do exactly that. You know, to remind us that this is where we come from. So as we celebrate the gains in our future, and as we develop, and you know, and we develop in different sectors, creative sectors, and so forth, we must just remember that, you know,
take stock.
Take stock.
Take
So,
stock.
you know, essentially to not only, you know, because then the value of what we've got, then we know that, wow, you know, we must actually protect what we've got now, but also what we should not do.
Excellent. Listen, this conversation here with Jeanny and Leeroy about Basha Uhuru is going to continue. If you have no plans this weekend, I have a plan for you. Constitution Hill is the place to be. So this year, in commemoration of 41 years since the Soweto uprising and 21 years since the founding of our constitution, the voices and expressions of the youth through their artistic creativity is all the more important. Basha Uhuru is Constitution Hill's flagship arts festival, and I'm with Jeanny Morulane and photographer Leeroy Jason in studio. Can I call you guys like the brainchild behind the entire thing, and you the artistic expression that is in this festival? Can I do that?
Yeah, but I'm one of. So the festival goes on. It's a full expression of all the different arts.
Okay.
So 2 days ago, when we kicked off Basha Uhuru, it started off with the conversations with all these different creatives from all over, from architects to designers to young talent. Then obviously yesterday was myself and a group exhibition, and today is
The movies.
Yes, the film screening.
Film screenings.
Yes, visual.
And I know, you know, Kalushi is being screened,
Kalushi,
Beyond the
Hangman,
River,
Beyond the
Uprising.
River,
We
and
had the
Uprise.
director from Uprising here on June 16, actually.
oh nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm dying to see it. And there's a fourth movie that's being shown,
Beyond the River,
Yeah.
Uprise, Kalushi, and Hangman.
and Hangman.
Hangman.
So I want to go back to the conversations with the architects and the professionals and the creators. It's conversations with the youth, obviously. What were those about? What's the chatter?
It was just, you know, sharing ideas, sharing, you know, space with, you know, most of the time you're in Joburg and you don't realize what people do. You know, you go to these lavish, pajama parties, and you don't realize, or you don't know who these people are. And it was a space where creatives actually just got together and they spoke. Some people were on and off, you know, record, where they would have a stage and a platform to speak about what they do as an individual, and maybe some of the issues they are facing, or some of the opportunities that they've also seen within the current state. And yeah, that was it. It was very interesting. It was a lot of people. It was great. I mean, in terms of, I got to meet these guys from Umuzi, which I had a tiff with initially about, because, well, not a tiff with, but I mean, because the
A
thing
disagreement.
Is, a disagreement.
A difference in opinion.
Yeah. No, I mean, the thing is, as artists, I mean, I think there's a lot of artists that have a big thing. They don't realize what's referencing and what's copying.
What's copying?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that was the big thing. Because sometimes, you know, you produce things. Because as a photographer, I'm not just taking pictures. I believe photography is ideas, you know.
Yeah.
It's an idea that I'm putting together, and that's what I did with this series of work with Gender Must Fall.
Yeah.
Was an idea of living a genderless society, because the patriarchal society in our country is actually causing a lot of damage.
98% of our problems is because of patriarchy.
And the thing is, and I'm not trying to, you know, say that it's not. I don't think it's African to a certain degree. Like I think yes, culture, but I don't think there's a space where we have to segregate ourselves and call it African. I don't think that is something that should continue, because within that segregation breeds abuse, aggression, you know, a certain sense of entitlement, and a lot of men don't realize it. So that's why I started with that, because I wanted men to realize that they are privileged, and if you are a man out there and you don't realize that how privileged you are, like trying to explain to a white man or
to understand that they are privileged, yeah,
or their tone of voice, or the things that they're saying, or the things it could come across aggressive or feeling insensitive, you know.
Speaking of, you know, white people, are they attending this? Because I just feel like it's a blacks only thing.
Not at all, not at all.
Okay.
You know, it's really it's an across. You know, I mean, if you look at the crowd that was there with us at the Conversations of Freedom, I mean, it was across the board really, and you know, it was really representative of the true state of the creative you know sector and actors in there. And I mean, it's a partnership that we've done obviously with our main sponsor Nando's, and between 10 and 5.
Yeah.
So you know, so it's really it's across the board. I mean, it was really well represented. What you got was interestingly enough different kinds of challenges, but similar in one way, in terms of you know the creative sector and the creative challenges that they have, you know, in exercise. So it was a very interesting discussion, very heartful, from the heart, you know, really sharing, you know, in terms of the experiences that different artists go through. So
I always find that with discussions like this, there's only one group of people there, right? So if we're talking gender, then it's, you know, a room filled with 400 women and no men to listen. I'm like, but guys, we can't keep saying these things to each other. You need to invite the men here. And when it comes to race, us black people will get together in a room and then we moan about what white people are doing. And I'm like, but where are the whites? They must be here to listen.
Yeah.
Because outside of work, we don't really talk to each other. You know, yes, we go to the same restaurants, yes, we go to the movies, but are you really engaging? So when you say you were having these conversations, it was a proper engagement.
It was very well represented from all, you know, from even age groups. You know, I know, you know, it's Youth Month, but you know, it was across really, and really, so I wouldn't, you know, and that's the kind of space that that's the kind of thing that Constitution Hill is. You know, it's almost like a sacred space, as we like to call it. You know, where you know, citizens can really find themselves, so to say. You know, and we've got all, you know, different engagements with different networks in terms of, you know, there's certain groups where it's whites saying, you know, how do we, you know, but once again, the programs that we partner with them, then you know, blacks would then join, you know, into those discussions. So at Constitution Hill, that is the vision. You know, it really is to push the you know, the implements of the Constitution in terms of representativity.
But I love exactly what you're saying about, you know, that there's certain, because that's what I was feeling like when it came to, you know, gay, lesbian, and, you know, the transgender community. You know, when you go to those talks and you're sitting there and you're like, but you're preaching to the choir here.
Because you just like, we're the straight people. Best believe gays aren't killing gays.
And males.
Lesbians aren't killing lesbians. It's straight people who are killing lesbians. You know what I'm saying? So have those guys here.
Yeah. And so that's what I did with this series of work. I was with Muzi, is like, because she's very, very beautiful, and I captured the sexual. I mean, if you see, you know, my way in which I kind of aesthetically I tried to make it very pleasing, so that you as a straight male look at an image and then realize that you're actually looking at a person, not not a gender,
Not a gender
not
or
a
a
sex
or an
organ or an object. You're actually just you're pleased by what you see, and you're not trying to call your friend to try and catcall or create something about it. It was a conversation you have internally, and you had to face whether or not you're sensitive, whether or not you're participating in making other people's lives uncomfortable.
Do you know what I like about this Basha Uhuru? Is that around Youth Month, everything becomes a party.
Yeah.
Everything becomes a party. It's bash here, bash there, party there, club there, Youth Month, celebrate Youth Month. And, everything is not a party, but there is a concert that you guys are doing. Tell us about the concert before I say goodbye to you.
Well, the concert is very exciting, and it's people are really invited to really go to Web Tickets and quickly register, because slots are running out. The free tickets are running out very quickly. We're going to be having people like Tandiso Mazwai, Stocky G, Zola, DJ Kenzero. We're going to be having Osmic. So it's a whole
Mellow
mix.
B. Jones, I love her.
Dopes and Jones, so it's, so it's absolutely non-kupiri, so it's a very wonderful mixture. We're also going to be having an Afro punk stage as well as there, so we're going to be having the main stage and an Afro punk.
And this is tomorrow.
This is tomorrow from 12 to 12. So you go straight to 11 Costa Street in Braamfontein, and you get there and you park at the super basement. We've got ample parking, over 1,000 cars, so it's going to be fun. And
a low crate market is also going to be there. You can
on
bring
Sunday,
the kids.
yes.
Yeah,
On Sunday, there's a
friendly.
picnic. There's a
Proper.
picnic, so if it's a family time, so we'll have the party obviously on Saturday and the celebration of the music, and then on Sunday then is the low crate picnic and at the women's jail within Constitution Hill.
Thank you guys. Leeroy, keep it up. You are
Absolutely.
You are amazing.
When you
Jeanny,
to my studio.
I get an invite. I'm coming to your studio. Thank you so much to my guest. Tomorrow is the Sounds of Freedom concert, like you heard, and on Sunday, the Low Crate Picnic Comedy Jam to close the 2017 edition of Basha Uhuru. Come back after the break. We got a surprise for you. And that is all we have time for today. Like we do every Friday, I must announce the winner of our weekly competition. Well done. If your name is Dustin August from Johannesburg, congratulations. You walk away with the e-gift card valued at 5,000 Rand. And now, as I promised you earlier, Sands is going to start the weekend by sending us off with his hit song, Tigi. Okay, Swaziland, we're not taking him. Don't worry. It's yours. You can borrow him to us. Tigi.
Vani, udlala kabiya, udlala ngenhlitiyo, ungithinta kabi, uthitha imizwa yami, udlala kabi, uthi uyangithanda, kepha uthangikhuluma ethini. Something's lena inhlitiyo yami ishaya tikikiki 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 Vani Ngiva kumnanzi umuvele gama lami uva kunjani umuva gama lakho uva kunjani uma ngithi ngiyakuthanda kepha uthangikhuluma ethini masongithinta lena inhlitiyo yami ishaya tikikiki 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 Vani welelelelele ngiva kumnanzi uma uvuka igama lakho ngiva kumnanzi uma ngibita igama lakho ngiva kumnanzi uma uthi uyangithanda kepha usangikhuluma ensini uma sengifumana nami inhliziyo ishaya tikikiki tikikiki ishaya tikikiki 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 lena 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 masokutsinza lena lena masokutsinza lena 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 masokutsinza lena lena Vani baby ungesabi la 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 Funny baby funny funny baby funny funny baby funny